Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Blame It on the Stars, where we give you an inside look to what's going on in the universe so you can blame your problems on the stars. It is Jade here.
And it's Kara.
And this week, we'll be talking all about the retrograde heavy Virgo season that is coming up, tell you all of the transits that are happening so you know what you're getting into up front. But in case you missed it, last week we talked all about the new moon in Leo that happens on August 16th. So if you want to know more about that, then definitely listen to last week's episode before diving into this one.
And just to give you a heads up, next week we will dive deeper into Mercury retrograde in Virgo and Mars in Libra. We will tell you everything you need to know and how it affects you.
And with that being said, let's dive into Virgo season. So as you just heard me mention, Virgo season this year is very retrograde heavy. Some of the retrogrades you'll hear us talk about include Mercury retrograde, Uranus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, as well as Venus retrograde ending. There are some other transits we're going to talk about, including Mars in Libra, new moon in Virgo, full moon in Pisces. All of those transits are going to have their own episodes in the weeks to come, but we'll still talk about it now, in addition to going in depth with the sun entering Virgo, just so you know what's to come. So with that being said, Virgo season this year begins on August 23rd. This happens at 5:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And per usual, the date and time are from the website astroseek.com. How this affects you. Virgo season normally is a time for getting organized, getting your life together, and it's that perfect back to school planning energy.
During Virgo season, we're all going to take on Virgo-like qualities. Because Virgo is an earth sign, this energy is very grounded and practical. This is a good time to address any challenges or things going on in your life with a more logical and analytical mindset. Also, Virgo is associated with health and wellness, so you might be more focused on taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally.
This year, Virgo season has some challenges, not just because of the upcoming retrogrades, but because some of the key dates are a little bit challenging. The key dates you'll want to pay attention to start off with August 27th. The sun will be opposite Saturn. This is a day that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. There could be some self-reflection going on in your life and some boundary setting, but it's also a great day for long-term planning.
And then on September 6th, the sun will be conjunct Mercury retrograde. This happens at 7:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This marks the middle of the Mercury retrograde cycle, so a lot of the things that have been coming up will be highlighted, and this will be a good day to analyze and reflect on some of the themes that are coming up as you prepare for this retrograde cycle to eventually come to a close.
Then on September 8th, the sun will be trine Jupiter. This is one of the more positive days during Virgo season. Sun trine Jupiter is an exceptional day for personal growth, for positive outlook, and for just abundance in general. It's a lucky day.
And then on September 15th, the sun will be trine Uranus. Even though Uranus can shake things up and bring a lot of changes to our lives, trines are positive aspects. So a lot of the changes that are coming up during this time will support you in your everyday life and in pursuing your goals.
And then on September 19th, the sun will be opposite Neptune. This might be a more confusing day. You might notice that just a little bit lost or wanting to just spend the day maybe watching TV, listening to music, or scrolling on TikTok. This might be a day where your emotions are a little bit high, but the plus side to this day is that there's an increased sense of empathy and compassion for the people around you, as well as a great creative boost.
And the last aspect that the sun makes happens on September 21st. The sun will be trine Pluto. This is a very transformative energy. During this time, you might feel more of a desire to be self-reflective, to grow, and to look within. This is a good time to tap into your inner strength and resilience as you are making changes and working towards your goals in your everyday life.
So everything else that we're about to mention will have their own episodes. These are things that kind of require a little bit of deep dives, but we're going to just give you an overview now, again, so you know what you can expect. The first thing is Mercury retrograde in Virgo. This happens the same day that Virgo season begins at 3:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know is that Mercury retrogrades are for revising and for reflecting. Since this is in the sign of Virgo, you can expect to be revising things like your plans or any work you've done that required a lot of detail.
If you're listening to this before Mercury retrograde begins, which hopefully you are, this is your reminder to back up everything from your phone or computer or have duplicates of anything that you keep digitally, because Mercury retrograde is known for causing some challenges when it comes to the way that we communicate, and that does include technology. Also, because Virgo is a very detail-oriented sign, you might notice some perfectionist tendencies coming up. Remember to be kind to yourself, because there can be a tendency to be very critical or hard on yourself during this time.
The next thing that happens during Virgo season is Mars entering Libra on August 27th. This happens at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you, you might notice that you are more inclined to fight for what is right. Libra is all about justice, so justice definitely becomes more of a priority when Mars, your motivation, is shifted in that direction.
Because Mars does deal with how we take action and go about doing things, and Libra is an air sign, so there is more of an intellectual approach to things, we can be feeling a little bit indecisive or not sure what to spend our energy on or where to focus our energy. So just keep that in mind so that you can make intentional decisions and choices. Also, there will be some aspects to Mars, which include a conjunction to the South Node and a square to Pluto, which we will talk more about in next week's episode.
The next thing that happens during Virgo season is Uranus retrograde. This happens on August 28th at 10:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you can expect, as we always say with Uranus, expect the unexpected, since it's a very unpredictable planet. With retrogrades in Uranus, you never really know what you're going to get. Just know something's going to change.
Some Taurus themes that you might be reflecting on during this time is the relationship that you have with stability, also reflecting on your values and becoming more aware of the environment and nature during this time.
The next thing that happens during Virgo season is the full moon in Pisces on August 30th at 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know is that full moons are all about releasing so that we can find balance. Since this is between Pisces and Virgo, this is all about balancing out your dreams with what is the more practical thing to do.
As for some of the aspects that we will be experiencing during this full moon, there will be a positive aspect trine to Jupiter. And then also the moon will be conjunct Saturn, which is really going to help us be grounded and practical as we are making our dreams a reality and taking a more practical approach to our lives.
Then the good news you've been waiting for. The next thing that happens during Virgo season is that Venus will station direct in Leo on September 3rd at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So something you should know is that means Venus retrograde will be over after September 3rd. Anything related to Venus, such as relationships, money, and beauty, are no longer going to be under the influence of the retrograde. Things are back on track after this.
Even though the energy will improve, do keep in mind that there will be a square to both Jupiter and Uranus that will continue to emphasize that area of our chart.
But then when one planet retrograde ends, another retrograde begins. Jupiter will station retrograde in Taurus on September 4th at 10:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you: while Jupiter is a very optimistic planet, it rules over things like your belief systems. So with the retrograde happening, you might be reflecting on the things that you believe in, as well as you might notice that you're starting to reconsider or reevaluate any opportunities that have presented themselves to you.
Taurus also does deal with our self-worth. So during this time, you might be exploring and redefining who you are and seeking confidence and reassurance from within. Also, Taurus is a fixed sign and goes about things more slowly. So a lot of the growth that happens during this time will potentially lead to more sustainable and lasting results.
So the next thing that happens during Virgo season is the new moon in Virgo. This happens on September 14th at 9:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know is new moons are all about setting intentions and new beginnings. This will be around those Virgo themes. So if you find that you're setting intentions around being organized, planning things out, but also honorable mention, helping others, being of service to those around you, that might be something that comes up during the new moon.
And there are a lot of aspects at the time of this new moon to outer planets, such as a trine to Jupiter, a trine to Uranus, a trine to Pluto, and then also an opposition to Neptune. We will go more in depth into how all of those energies interact and how that will be influencing this new moon in a future episode.
And then lastly, we end Virgo season on a good note. Mercury retrograde will end on September 15th at 4:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So something you should know is that we'll end Virgo season with our communication back on track, and we can really enjoy Mercury being in its home sign of Virgo again at the end of Virgo season.
Even though Mercury retrograde has ended, keep in mind that there is a post-shadow phase, so there will be a short period of time after the retrograde concludes where things are still going to be slowly resolving and transitioning back to how it was before the retrograde.
So that's pretty much it for Virgo season. If you were curious to know how any of these things impact you on a more personal level, then this is your reminder. We do offer readings. Readings are hosted on an app called Intro, which allows for FaceTime style calls. We have readings for as short as 15 minutes to as long as 1 hour. You decide what you want to talk about. When you go to book a reading, there is a slot where you can type in all of your questions, and we'll be able to pull up your chart and answer all of those questions in depth, face to face on the call.
And if you've never booked a reading with us before, then you can use the code STARS, all caps STARS, for $20 off your first reading.
And just a reminder, next week we'll be doing a deep dive into the Mercury retrograde as well as Mars in Libra. So if you want to know more about that, be on the lookout for next week's episode. But until then, if you want to stay in the loop with us and what's to come, make sure you're following us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at BLME The Stars. That is all for now, and we'll see you all next Monday. Bye.